I'm just going to leave that one right there. Who would have a library of legitimate Russian intel sources that they could pin fake information on? Oh. I want to dispel some myths. Number one, I want to get rid of once and for all this, why golly, we were tricked by Russian disinformation. It's a new narrative out there. The narrative goes like this. Well, now that we know, based on the IG report, that the FBI suspected there may have been Russian disinformation in Steele's reporting, which they used to get a FISA to spy on the Trump team. You copy? Their new narrative is going to be in the media, and I believe with many at the upper levels of the Bureau trying to cover this up, they're going to say, well, we were tricked by the Russians with Russian disinformation. No, you were not. This was a Hillary disinformation campaign from the start. You guys bought it hook, line, and sinker because a lot of you hated Trump, and it was just a bunch of lies. Stop the nonsense, okay? I'm getting tired of this Russian disinformation line. The information was fake, and it was attributed to real Russians. They knew that. But how do we know Hillary's team was involved in this from the start? Well, obviously, they paid for the dossier. But hat tip to Hans Monkey again and Stephen McIntyre for this. There's some really good clips out there, ladies and gentlemen, in the past that pretty much show from the start the Hillary team was involved in a disinformation campaign in turn with their FBI buddies. Let's go to first this photo of dossier number 95, memo number 95 in late July. I want to read this to you, and then I want to play something for you from Robbie Mook, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. Check this out. Read the language here. This is dossier number 95 from Christopher Steele, importantly in late July. We don't know the exact date, but it's right around late July of 2016. Look at the language in there. The reason for using WikiLeaks was plausible deniability, and the operation had been conducted with the full knowledge and support of Trump and senior members of his campaign team. So just to be clear, Christopher Steele, paid for by Hillary through her intermediaries, puts out dossier memo number 95, Joe, and in late July, we don't know the exact date, but this is important, and says, yes, WikiLeaks leaked this stuff, and they did it with full knowledge of the Trump team. Well, what else happens in late July? Joe, total coincidence, I'm sure. Robbie Mook, Hillary Clinton's deputy, the guy running the campaign at this time, appears in late July in this exact same time frame on one of the leftist news networks, and he almost mimics exactly the language in the dossier. How would he know that if this was a Russian disinformation campaign and not a political operation by Hillary and Robbie Mook? Listen to Robbie Mook echo this exact same language that just happens to come out at the same time as this media appearance. Here's some evidence for you.
What's disturbing to us is that experts are telling us that Russian state actors broke into the DNC, stole these emails, and other experts are now saying that the Russians are releasing these emails for the purpose of actually helping Donald Trump. I don't think it's coincidental that these emails were released on the eve of our convention here.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? Echoing the whole WikiLeaks Russian link in conjunction with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And amazingly, Joey says, I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think, Robbie, it's a coincidence either that in late July, as you're feeding this information to the FBI and others through your campaign's political oppo research operation, you happen to go on CNN and echo the words of the dossier or the sentiments of it almost exactly. But Joe, it was a Russian disinformation campaign, not a Hillary op.
Right.
Crazy how Hillary's people seem to be getting the same Russian disinformation at the same time. Isn't that weird? I thought Trump was colluding with the Russians. So let's just throw that baby and bury that sucker right now. Let's throw the baby and the bathwater out at the same time. There's no Russian disinformation. It's fake. It was always fake. They were not duped by the Russians. This was a political operation. My gosh, stop the nonsense. Let's move on. The great Devin Nunes made an appearance on Fox this weekend. Did you catch it? If you didn't, you missed an absolute gem. Joe, do you have the Nunes translator?
Initiating Nunez translator, Dan.
There you go.
Good night. I am going to translate for you what I think Devin Nunes is saying in this cut, because this gem from Fox and Friends this weekend, He just blows the doors off something I've thought for a very long time. And we'll see. He has two talking about. I want you to pay attention to, he mentions 3 Russians in the beginning of this clip. And then he mentions a period in 2016 when the CIA gave stuff to the FBI. Listen to this cut, and I will do my Nunes translation on the other side of it. Check this out.
You have the 3 dossiers that have to be investigated. I'm also interested in 3 Russians that are actually Russian Americans that we're looking into. And then I would say finally, in 2016, we know from great work that Trey Gowdy did at the time in questioning that the CIA gave information over to the FBI in 2016. We now are laser focused on that. We need to know exactly what did the CIA give to the FBI in 2016. That's what our investigation is now focusing on.
Oh, man. The gems in that one. Remember that cartoon, Gem? She's truly outrageous. Remember that? Every single cartoon ever I had on in my house because we had like 3 generations of kids in there all the time. Well, maybe not generations. That's probably a gross exaggeration. But what the gems in there. So, gem number 1. And I'm guessing what he's saying here. But when I say guessing based on a lot of homework I've done on this case in the past here, in conjunction with info from 279 and others. So he's very concerned about 3 Russians. I'm going to throw this out there. Is it possible, again, that, as I've said to you from the start, that everyone knew the Steele information was fake, including Robbie Mook and others who were promoting it in July of 2016? Steele information is fake. It's a lie. The dossier is a lie. It's a hoax, folks. It's a total hoax. It's not Russian disinformation. It's slivers of it, maybe. But the allegations in there, the PP tape, it's all made up. It's garbage. It was always made up. Is it possible, just possible, I'm going to leave this here, that it's fake intelligence? Yes, that's not possible. That's true. But is it possible it's fake intelligence attributed to real Russians? Who are these 3 Russians? And if it is fake intel made to look real by being attributed to Russians, then where did they get the names of the Russians? How would you know? Audience referee Armacost. Do you kind of pick up what I'm putting down here? I got to be careful here, folks.
Yeah. Yes,
because I don't want to make too many leaps.
No.
But if you wanted to make information that was a lie look real, by attributing it to real Russians who didn't say it, not their info, then how would you know what real Russians to attribute the information to make it look real? Who would know that? Real Russian sources. Oh. I'm just going to leave that one right there. Who would have a library of legitimate Russian intel sources that they could pin fake information on? Oh.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud and follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.